Hello, Ramley and other family, especially shouting out to our Cardinals family today. I'm Payo. I'm here to talk football. We have an amazing, epic, Mondo, mega collaboration coming up right tonight. We are going to preview the LA Rams as they journey to Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals. And I have invited three of my favorite Cardinals content creators out there. These guys are doing great things on the internet. I'm going to introduce them right after I delay a little bit because I forgot to click on that button, but I am about to do it right after this intro. Yes, here we are. Oh man, I have been waiting for this collab all day.
Sorry, I was rocking out to that music, dude.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, that is me fooling around in After Effects. I could never recreate that ever again if I tried. But I had a fun time making it. But let me introduce here. For those of you watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Smash that like button, but also you need to make sure that you subscribe to these fantastic content creators. We have first up here to right immediately to my kind of left or right, wherever you're viewing this from. This is Aaron from the amazing Cardinals Conversation Corps YouTube channel. Aaron, hello. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. And like you joked earlier, I'm here to talk about a team that I'm actually passionate about. So it's good to be back.
Yes, for those of you who have been watching my channel for a long time, you might recognize Aaron. He was here on my Texans previews because he writes for a fan website for the Texans. But he's not talking about the Texans tonight. We're talking about the Rams and Cardinals. That's what we want to hear. And then down below me, another familiar face. Who's been rocking the YouTube, algorithm since for I guess the past year, whenever you started doing this. We have Joseph, aka the Cardinal Rule. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's always good to hang out with you. We've done a couple collabs before, and I've done stuff with Aaron or been in his streams. He's been in mine, and two of my favorite YouTubers. So glad to hang out with you guys.
Awesome. Oh, well, I'm glad you're both here. We will have a third Cardinals fan joining us, Mauro Tanaka, another fantastic Cardinals YouTube creator. He is just a little bit late. Something came up, but as soon as he's in here, we'll pop him into the show for sure. All three of the links to these channels are in the description below. You got to make sure you go subscribe. You got it. Anyway, that being said, I want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to get into this collab. If you do have a question or something, feel free to comment that in the chat, and we will address it the best that we can. But guys, I am so stoked for this game. Let me just start off by saying we know the Cardinals beat the Rams earlier this season. It's been a long time since the Cardinals had beaten the Rams. I'm willing to admit, maybe the Cardinals were due for that. Okay, whatever. That's cool. We're moving on. I'm stoked for this game. This game is the rematch we've been waiting for. The Rams got a nice win against the Jaguars. Hopefully that we can put a game together to beat these Cardinals who are flying high in the NFL power rankings, if you haven't noticed. But my first question for both Aaron and Joseph is, I am nicknaming this game the Prove It in Primetime game because I think that the Rams and the Cardinals are both a team that need to prove they can win in prime time. Because the Cardinals, their one loss came to I guess they have two losses, but one of their losses came to Green Bay in a primetime Thursday night game. And in the past, the Cardinals have struggled in primetime games. The Rams are also a team that has struggled in primetime games. So that's kind of my headline for this game, the prove it in primetime game. What is the headline that you would give this game if you were a newspaper reporter or something, and is like, what headline would you give this game? Aaron, we'll start with you.
I would say this would be the chance to, as Ron Wolfley said, ding dong, the witch is dead. You have a chance to kill the witch, which is the Rams. And if there's anything that the Cardinals struggled for a long time, was beating the Seahawks at home. When you look last year at that overtime win at home, that was the first Cardinals home win against the Seahawks since 2012, I'm pretty sure. And so it had been 8 years since it happened. And Russell Wilson would always come into our house and break our backs, and we would do the same up there. So I think this team already has a lot in terms of I guess, for lack of a better word, integrity and structure and how to get into these games and win it, because this team's done it all. I mean, they've won barn burners. They've won slugfest against the 49ers in the first time they played. They were up here in Chicago where I live, and I went to the game. They looked like the Midwest team. Yeah, Murray, had some trouble with the ball, but that's the last bad weather game potentially for a year. So it's got to be, this is your chance to really prove to not only yourself, but to the NFL world that you are for real. I mean, Joseph, when was the last time we had this chance? 2015, 2008? I mean, these chances don't come up very often.
I mean, 2015 was the last really good Cardinals team. And then, Carson Palmer was banged up and, things went sideways in the playoffs. For me, in terms of what I'm going to call this game, is a streak of our own.
Ooh.
Because the Rams had that 8-game streak under Sean McVay, and as a Cardinals fan, obviously we would love to kind of switch the table around, so to speak, and start a streak of our own under this kind of iteration of the Cardinals, and hopefully becoming the team that wins the division years on end.
Yeah, and if you look at the series history, like, of course, the Rams had won, I think it was 8 in a row. But before that, like, this series history is dominated by, just one team owning it all. Arizona from 2006 all the way up to 2010 had won every matchup, or the first matchup or whatever. And so it's, once one team gets on the run in this series, it kind of stays that way. So that's a great title.
Okay. I can respect that. Okay, very cool. I am really interested though in something about this game that I find the most fascinating leading into it is, Joseph, when I had you on my show to preview the first Rams Cardinals game, you predicted the Cardinals to lose.
I did.
And when I had Mauro on my season prediction series Moof back in the summer, he predicted the Cardinals to get swept by the Rams. So it's interesting to me how even, super Cardinal fans had this narrative of, well, the Rams are just on top right now under Sean McVay. And I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm saying that it's so interesting to me that the expectations were so low. And they're clearly being exceeded. So could you two maybe dive into that a little bit? Is what has this season meant to you as Cardinals fans coming in with, Cliff Kingsbury was on the hot seat. You had questions about Kyler Murray, and his ability to stay healthy. There was questions in your run game. And, what has this season meant? I mean, the Cardinals, they're probably, one of the most disrespected 9-2 teams of all time. Because
10-2.
Or,
sorry, so you're disrespecting them.
My
now,
apologies.
Right? Taking a win away from us. What's up with that?
Sorry, my apology.
Just kidding.
My apology. But Aaron, could you start us? What has this season meant to you as a Cardinals fan?
I mean, not to make like a desert-related pun, but this season is like an oasis in the desert. I mean, because it's been 6 long, grueling years where there were 2 8-8 or 7-9 seasons, and then the bottom dropped out. And the reason why, because even myself, I didn't expect us to beat the Rams the way we did. Heck, that was the day after I got married, and I was going on my honeymoon on the next Monday. So I'm like, this is great start. But I just think that there's so much scar tissue from 2020, from the penalties to the mistakes to whatever you wanted to go back and point out. That was there. And now, like, one of the guys who I have kind of temporarily filling in, we call him underscores on Instagram at _NFLAZ Cardinals. He says that he made a really good point that the Cardinals fans now, like, there's confidence in this team. The sleeping giant that this fan base now has confidence. And so, as disruptive and annoying that it was to lose that Panthers game,
I'm back.
Right.
Yeah, on the bench. The very next week. There wasn't any panic. And when I going to the game in Chicago on Sunday, it was just like, okay. I when they were at the 4th and 2 inside the red zone or whatever, that they scored a touchdown to Hopkins, I literally said, go for it. And it's exactly what Kingsbury did. There is a certain amount of guts and grit to this team that has not been here in a long time, if ever. And so the changes that Cliff Kingsbury made to go from hot seat to almost NFL penthouse in 10 weeks, 12 weeks has been phenomenal, and I'm all here for it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you mentioned, how when we talked before, I picked the Rams win. I do have to say, though, some of that was a matter of principle, because one of the things I kind of said coming to the season is because of that streak, until the Cardinals showed me that they could beat Sean McVay, I wasn't going to pick them to win. I will say, going to that game, I was a little more optimistic because the Cardinals were playing really well. So like, in a vacuum, I thought I might have picked the Cardinals to win, but on principle, I wouldn't let myself. But I didn't see it, as Aaron, noted, I didn't see that kind of a win, right? A dominant win. But this season has been amazing as a fan. I'm a little older than I think probably than both of you. So, I've been a Cardinals fan. I lived in Arizona when they moved in '88. I was, I'm not going to say how old I was, but I was early teens. And I started, I've been following them forever. And I remember, so I've got most, I've got the good and the bad and mostly bad experiences.
Right.
And so this is really amazing. It's really amazing to have a team that every single game I go into that game believing they have a legitimate chance to win. Right. Mm-hmm. Like there's no game where I watching it as a fan go into the game feeling like, oh man, it's going to take it. Yeah. It will be an upset if they pull this one off. Right. Yeah. They should be favored at this point in just about any game they go into, or at least a push. So that's been a really great feeling, but there's still just that little bit of me is that long-suffering Cardinals fan that's just waiting for that other shoe to drop, that's waiting for the wheels to fall off. Like, logically, I don't think this team is going to fall apart. They've shown their ability, to endure through difficult situations, right? That the game against Cleveland, without the coaches, going winning 2 out of 3 with their quarterback and DeAndre Hopkins injured. I mean, this team winning every single game on the road. This has been the most consistent team in the NFL. I mean, hands down. And they don't have what I would consider a bad loss. Even the Carolina loss was a bad loss, but it was a backup quarterback. So you're not like stressing out about that, right? Yeah. The Green Bay loss was a loss to a really good team where the Cardinals had a chance to win it right up until that one play, right? This is not a team that, with their starting quarterback in a game that you would say it's fair to assess them on, has been blown out, right? Yeah. So, it feels great. And I feel confident, like Aaron was talking about, but there's just more this emotional thing in the background that's saying, don't let yourself enjoy it too much. It's all going to fall apart. And but again, that's kind of that scar tissue from being a longtime Cardinals fan.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we have our third guest coming in here today. Please join me in welcoming the amazing Cardinals fan season ticket holder, Mauro Tanaka. Hello.
What is up, Mauro?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. Oh, nice. There you go. That's a good setup.
Yeah.
Got a
How are
great
you, my
mic here,
friend?
so I'm good. Thank you for having me here. Let's talk about Cardinals, of course. The Rams is upcoming. Great Monday night football showdown on
For
national
sure.
television.
Absolutely. And Mauro, I don't know if you and Aaron have ever met before, but I want to make sure to introduce you live on stream here. This is three
First time for
fantastic
sure.
cards.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You as well, dude.
Um,
Go ahead.
but Mauro, could you just give us your thoughts? We were just kind of close off this segment here. I know you haven't been a Cardinals fan as long as the Cardinal rule, perhaps, but
he hasn't been alive as long as I've been a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
So let's be honest. You're being
You got
kind.
jokes, huh? You
I'm
got jokes,
28,
huh? Okay,
so
okay.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
So Mauro, maybe as maybe a newer Cardinals fan, what has this season meant to you that maybe doesn't have the same jaded past of the Cardinal rule?
Correct. Well, as a couple guys know, I'm a fan since 2018, one of the worst years in the franchise. But it was the first time watching American football as well, because I'm outside. I'm from Japan. Never was never familiar with football. So watching a team playing football with such entertainment was very inspiring. Got me into it. Of course, it was the worst team in NFL, but back then it really got me to it. Got to the fan support. You saw 2019. See some believe 2020. You got some up and downs, but we got there closer every year. And this year, just a year to capitalize. We got all the pieces together. I'm just proud how consistent and just dynamic our team is, and just proud as a fan. And now this upcoming game, as you guys know, we can clinch the playoff with a win. So this is a big moment, a big time game coming up.
Right. And Mauro, I can sympathize with when you joined this fan base, because I joined in 2004 when I found out about Bolden and Fitzgerald. And so we've all been a part of the ups and downs. So you're not alone.
Appreciate it. Now,
Oh, we just had a
moment
here. But anyway, back to previewing this game here. That was heartwarming. But so I want to share a bit from a Rams fan perspective coming into this game. So you guys beat us up. You came into our house in SoFi and you beat us up good. That's you gotta tell it like it is. That was not a good game for the Rams. We had multiple turnovers. There was a lot of frustrations on both sides of the ball. Now, I am still confident in this Rams team. The Rams have had we had a 3-game losing streak where that was horrible. It was terrible. It was not fun. But I am optimistic as a Rams fan that the mistakes that the Rams made in those 3 losses were correctable. And it was nice to have this Jaguars game. We were able to take care of business for sure. But coming into this Cardinals game, I really see this as an opportunity for the Rams to take the step forward that they need to. A loss this game actually doesn't impact the Rams seeding. I think I checked before this, according to playoffstatus.com, if the Rams lose this game, they go from a 57% chance at the 5th seed to a 54% chance. So there's not much of a change there if the Rams lose. Now, if the Rams win this game, I would argue the Rams actually have a lot more to gain than the Cardinals do. Now, the Cardinals clearly with a win, as Mauro correctly said, they would secure their playoff berth for sure. And the odds of them winning the NFC West, it's almost a guarantee. They would have to lose out to not do that. So almost guarantee win the division. So I think the Cardinals have a lot at stake here. But if the Rams were able to get this win in Arizona, I think that sets the Rams up for some pretty interesting football ahead, because we play Seattle right after this, and then we play the Vikings. So if the Rams could go on a bit of a winning streak of their own here, I think that would really help us. I know the odds of getting that number 1 seed are still pretty slim, but I'm looking at the Cardinals' schedule here, and hear me out, guys. Hear me out, okay? I do have it in front of me here. So the Cardinals' schedule, hypothetically, the Cardinals lose this game, okay? Hypothetically. Then you have to go to Detroit and play Cardinals slayer Jared Goff. He's 7-1 against the Cardinals, just saying. And then you have to go to Indianapolis. And I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to lose to the Lions. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, they come here. We play them at home on Christmas.
It's a Christmas home game.
They come here. Oh, sorry. Okay, I read that.
So right. Indy's coming to us.
The Colts are on Christmas, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. So the Colts. So
Christmas
you're going to
night,
Detroit.
Detroit's a road win. Yeah, road game.
A road win.
Same thing.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's fair. But like, I guess the reason why I bring all this up is there is an importance on this game that decides the rest of the NFC West future in the or at least this season. What are your thoughts on, how confident are you that the Cardinals are going to win this division? Is this game kind of the last stand that any NFC West foe has to, shake the Cardinals' chances? Aaron, we'll start with you.
I would say I'm confident in this game, but I'm not too high, but I'm not too low. The last time the Cardinals played the Rams let up 216 rushing yards. And if anything that's been consistent with this team is actually their run pass selection. You want to think of this offense as an air raid offense. Well, when you look at the play distribution, and I think I saw a number where it's like 50.9% run compared to like 49, whatever pass what is. That just shows you that the teams are preparing for what they think, what they want to see, but what they're not preparing for is the run game. And it's not like the run game is, prime Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
It's just efficient. The Cardinals never get behind the sticks. They are the third best team in expected points average or expected EPA. And so they're always gaining positive yards. They're always putting themselves in a chance to score more points. So it just comes down to the interior of both of the lines in Arizona. And despite what Brenton Buckner had to say on Twitter in his little mini rant, I am still concerned about that. But I would say I'm confident for this game.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Mauro, what about yourself?
Well, you give us a lot of facts of this game, but let me give you one fact.
Okay.
If the Cardinals beat the Rams this week, they will need only one win, or the Rams loss in the final 4 weeks to clinch NFC West.
Yeah,
that's simple. So regardless, this game is meaningful. Home game, prime time, in front of Red Sea, a divisional game. It has to be this definitely one of great matches. Is going to be the second half of the season. Very confident as well, but however, you never can underestimate opponents. Football game is not easy. We know very well the importance of one game, especially last year, since we were one game short to the playoffs, especially thanks to the Rams beating us. So, but yeah, we got to pay him back in front of Red Sea, and hopefully we can clinch the playoffs at home. First time in like 5-6 seasons, I believe. I know it's since 15-16 season.
Wow. And are you going to this game?
Absolutely.
That's very cool. I love seeing your post game content where you like at the game and you have a good time.
To be honest, it was kind of embarrassing in the beginning, but I was like, you know what, I got to do it.
Yeah, fair. Cool. Joseph?
Yeah, so when it comes to the division, I feel really good about the Cardinals' chances. And obviously the Cardinals have a 2-game lead, but on top of that, the Cardinals have the tiebreaker at this point because, the Cardinals are 4-0 in the division and the Rams are 1-2, right? So even if the Rams win this game, they have to finish with a better record than the Cardinals or hope the Cardinals lose against Seattle and the Rams have to sweep every division, right? And that's to tie it. And then it goes to the next tiebreaker, I think, are common games. So just the tiebreakers are stacked for the Cardinals. So like the Rams have to win more games than the Cardinals for the Cardinals to lose the division because of the tiebreaker situation. And listen, anything can happen, but the way the Cardinals have been playing, I don't see them losing enough games, even if the Rams play solid here on out, for the Rams to finish a game ahead, right? So as far as the division goes, is it a certainty? No, but is it a high probability, a near certainty? Yeah, absolutely, right? As far as this game goes, like the Rams are a really good team. That last game didn't go the way I thought it would go. And, really when you look at what happened in that first game, the Rams actually were running the ball really well. They were averaging like 6 yards a carry against the Cardinals. But the problem is the Cardinals pass defense did just enough. And then the Rams were either turning the ball over or kicking field goals while the Cardinals were scoring touchdowns. And, you know how it goes. You get up a couple scores, 3 scores, second half, you have to abandon the run. And the Rams had to do that. And then the Cardinals could hone in on the pass. The game script buried the Rams because they weren't scoring enough points to keep up with the Cardinals. So, if this game goes differently, really what it comes down to is if the Rams offense doesn't sputter like it did that first game. If they keep pace with the Cardinals and the Rams can continue to run the ball, they don't have to abandon that run, then this game could be a boat race, right? A shootout. It could be, 36-32 or something like that. But I really do think the key to the game is going to be the Rams passing offense against the Cardinals passing defense / Cardinals ability to stop on 3rd and 4th down. Because if the same script happens where the Rams are driving, but they have to punt or they turn the ball over or they have to kick field goals and the Cardinals keep scoring, it doesn't matter that they can run the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to abandon it. So to me, if I'm a Rams fan, I'm paying attention to what is that passing offense doing? Are they able to convert 3rd downs and put up points, not just field goals? Because if not, it's going to look like that last game.
Exactly. And I actually think I do believe the Rams will try to slow this game down a bit. Not that we're afraid of a track meet, because I actually think this offense is starting to click a little bit more after a couple of weeks of a slump. But we've started to notice that Sean McVay has been calling more, empty sets, power running. And against the Jaguars, we often had 6 linemen and 2 tight ends in there to do, powerful. You're not passing it when you're doing that, right? Mm-hmm. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we see kind of a mix up there. I do believe that, and I am aware that Sean McVay is very petty. He hates that he lost to the Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury. And I'm hoping that pettiness will inspire him to bring the Rams a victory here. In the questions I sent you guys ahead of time here, and again, I want to just do a quick shout out. Thank you everyone who's watching. Please smash that like button, whether you're watching live with us now or on the replay. So thankful for all of you. I really want to ask you guys, I know that every team has dealt with injuries this year. The Rams, we've obviously Robert Woods, we've lost. We've had Cam Akers in the offseason, major injuries. The Cardinals have had their share of injuries as well. How have the Cardinals been able to keep up that consistency that the Cardinal Rule was talking about earlier, despite having, injuries to DeAndre Hopkins, injuries to Kyler Murray? And feel free to list off any other major injuries that I'm missing as someone who doesn't follow the Cardinals every week.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Or do you want to go Mauro? Is that what that means?
I thought, Aaron, you got something to say.
Yeah, Aaron, you got it, man. Yeah.
Well, going back to your last point, I just wanted to, from my observations being at the game last week, the Cardinals pass rush couldn't even get to the Bears O-line. But what they did do I think they only maybe have 1.5 sacks. But what they did do was create a lot of pressure. And if there's anything that I know from that Tennessee game is that Jeffrey Simmons made that O-line his you-know-what and Stafford was panicking like it was good old Detroit, and 2 pick sixes were on the board in the blink of an eye. So I think that's what the Cardinals are good at, is making that pressure. And then when it comes to, fighting through the injuries that the Cardinals have had, I mean, I guess when you think of it, it's not too surprising when you think about the defensive side, because Vance Joseph got this team to be 4th in the league in sacks last year with a bunch of almost, the Arizona version of the Miami Dolphins no-name defense that never got to the playoffs. And so he's been able to do a lot with a little, and that's the reason for success. It's all about the scheme and putting the players exactly where they want to be. Byron Murphy's grown. Rodney Hudson's been making the calls to put the offensive linemen in the right spots, making the right calls. It's such a huge thing, because people forget, people want to remember about that Green Bay game. Like, well, Green Bay was without this, and I'm like, well, yeah, so was Arizona without their starting best lineman, 2 other guys. Murray got hurt or whatever. Hopkins pulled his hamstring. If the Packers, if we have to meet up down the road, God forbid, my heart attack, my blood pressure would go through the roof. I would like to see that healthy chess match, because that will not be the same game. And so through all that, that's why I think it's just the free agent acquisitions and the depth and everything else that's occurred. That's why there's been such a little drop off. And heck, even Robert Alford is making plays. Who would have thought of that? That's my point.
Mauro, do you have anything? Yeah.
How Cardinals can be playing through injuries, right?
Yeah, just the resiliency of the Cardinals through injuries. Yeah.
Just add in the right pieces as well, but bring in that leadership, like JJ Watt. Even he's not out for the season, however, but he's been out for quite a good time. Bringing that leadership, also AJ Green. I know he made a horrible mistake, which is game cost him, but after that he had a solid game in Seattle. So you got to make it over next man up. Same for Kyler went down. Cole McCoy, he's not Kyler Murray as well, but he did say he tried to play as close as how Kyler did. Just don't really mess up with the game script, game plan. Coaching as well has been a phenomenal job. I believe Cliff Kingsbury definitely should be a coach of the year, because he's been doing a tremendous job of making play calls, and also the players being executing just a complimented football, not making big mass turnovers. I know last week it was against Chicago, but 4 turnovers under the rain, that's a lot. So
I think the Cardinals are, number 1 in turnover differential on the season, I believe.
I think it was 2 or 3, but yeah, I know it's top 3.
It's up there for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just playing complimented football. That's just bringing out this team and prove that we're the best in the NFL.
Yeah. Joseph, anything to add?
Yeah, of course. I always have something. No, but you talked about the injuries. Obviously, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, huge injuries. But I think, and JJ Watt is another important injury. He was mentioned before, right. But in particular because of the position he plays, because the Cardinals' defensive interior line has actually been one of the weakest units on the team, or in terms of performance. And that's part of why they've struggled against the run. So missing JJ Watt has really been key. And then also Rodney Hudson missed some games, and Aaron Van Buren, a former offensive lineman himself, has a profound appreciation for what those offensive linemen do. And Rodney Hudson has been such an important pickup for this team in the offseason, such an improvement at the center position. And when he was out, that really impacted things a lot. He was out for that Packers game and a few other games. So how did they overcome that, though, right? Some of my colleagues here have said some of these things, but certainly part of it has been the pickups, in the offseason. For example, specifically, look at the backup quarterback position. Last year, when the Cardinals backed their way out of the playoffs by losing games against the Rams and the 49ers, with backup quarterbacks playing for both of those teams, we had Chris Streveler in there, and Chris Streveler, who recently was cut by the Cardinals, just wasn't doing it right. He was kind of, they were trying to do a Taysom Hill thing with him, that he's kind of a mobile quarterback, but he never really seem to be able to command the offense. So they went out and they signed a veteran Colt McCoy. They brought in the right kind of backup who, he lost the game in against Carolina. He went 2 of 3 in that stretch, and that's what if you get 2 out of 3 wins with the backup quarterback, you're really happy about that, right?
Yeah.
So, but they also picked up other key points like James Conner, AJ Green. They picked up players that fit key roles that this offense was needing. So they've just made the offense, so much more versatile. Last year, their offense was throw it to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre had like 100 and something catches. Throw screens to Larry Fitzgerald or Kyler Murray run, right? Their offense was not very versatile last year. But this year, they're spreading the ball out to everyone.
Great point.
They're not just targeting one receiver. So if DeAndre Hopkins is out, he's a huge important part of this offense, but their offense isn't changing drastically because he's gone, because they weren't throwing it to him exclusively like they did last year. James Conner running the ball, Zach Ertz. So they were already, before the injury, spreading the ball out, right? So they just continue to do that. And their defense being so good. And just like 2 other things I'd say, the depth, having good depth. And last, to quote JJ Watt, maybe we're just effing better, right? Maybe this team is just that good.
I also just want to build off of that. I mean, because when you think of star wide receivers, you don't think of someone who has the mentality of DeAndre Hopkins. How lucky are we, Cardinals fans, to have a star wide receiver who doesn't care if he doesn't get the ball? I mean, now you're Payo time. You're dealing with OBJ, so have fun with that.
Hey, I'm okay with it, man. People criticize that pickup so much. The reality is the Rams were desperate for a wide receiver, right? Like, we tried to pick up so many others. Like, we tried to get Josh Reynolds, but he got claimed by the Lions. And the reality is we needed a receiver. OBJ was the best available option, but I'm not worried about him because we still got Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp is the best wide receiver in football. Yeah.
I mean,
is he though?
He is.
Statistically, but is
Justin Jefferson's there?
Justin Jefferson is a baller in fantasy.
He leads the league in receptions, receiving touchdowns, and yards.
Look, but does that?
And where's that gotten you?
Serious question, though. Serious question.
Yeah,
he absolutely is having the most outstanding season as a receiver.
Yeah,
but do you think he is the most talented receiver in the NFL?
I think he's the smartest.
Okay.
I think there's other receivers that have better like physical attributes, better catch radius. There's definitely faster receivers. But if you look what he's doing, like, he is designing routes that haven't been done before, like, as a wide receiver. And there's the clip that's going viral right now of him talking about his touchdown pass against the Jags. And like, he's talking about like a firestorm zone, like the safety bit and stuff like that. Like, and it's so entertaining because not many people would know what he's ever talking about. And I don't know, like, again, I wouldn't say he's the most like physically talented. I do believe he is the smartest wide receiver in football, though.
Okay.
And
I just think it's more of a bigger and taller Julian Edelman.
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from him. He's great.
Right.
I think he's a top 5, maybe top 3 in terms of all. When you look at the whole facet of what he does, I just don't know that I'd say first. And there's probably 3 to 4 guys that you could make an argument.
Hey, remember, better catch by eye, right?
Yeah,
we got hands.
So I mean, listen, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
But he's up there. But I think he's putting up a lot of stats based on his role in this office and based on the injury to Robert Woods. So I just don't know. I don't think he's the best receiver.
But he was putting
in the
up
league,
numbers before the injury to Robert Woods.
but not like. Okay, I mean, I think though that
I
added
think he put like back-to-back 1,000 yards.
Listen, when I talk about what I think the Robert Woods being out is doing, it's like he's a 1,000-yard receiver with or without Robert Woods, but right now he's putting up historic numbers.
Yeah,
and I think the fact that the numbers are historic instead of just Pro Bowl, if that makes sense, is attributable to Woods being out. But I mean, listen, I think he's great. I'm not trying to hate on him. I think Justin Jefferson's up there in terms of best receivers. DeAndre Hopkins, he's even though he's been injured, and there's maybe one or two other guys you've got to get in that conversation. But he's in the conversation. I will definitely.
You'll have to politely forgive my fan bias that Robert Woods is the best wide receiver in football. I do want to there's some great comments here that I've been ignoring, and I apologize to everyone there. I do want to get to some of these comments here. The first one that I want to pull up is shout out Buddy Gas, loyal Rams fan, subscribe to the channel. He said, in my opinion, the Cardinals have lost way more important pieces than the Rams, especially when the Rams got Miller. Can't wait for this game. Could go either way. And, I think that's an interesting thing. And to be honest, I had forgotten all about the J.J. Watt injury. And I think of, the Cardinals season. And I'm not taking anything away from what the Cardinals have accomplished. And especially for you guys as a football fan who has had a team that has sucked for a long time and then it got good. And that's awesome. I am thrilled for you guys on a football fandom level. I celebrate your fandom. Have at it. But I do want to say that, coming into this game, I don't think it's fair to the sport of football is unpredictable, right? And I've seen all the predictions. I know the Rams are underdogs in this game. We have to go into Arizona, but I still do think that the Rams can pull out this win. And I see some of you guys have already given your predictions in the chat here, but Ben, I know Ben's awesome for asking questions, but he's saying, I have a question for all of you. What do you think the final score of this game will be? And I would love, for you guys to share your final score and what do you think the flow of this game will be?
I mean, it's probably I don't see it, because they always say in football, you got to go out and play your game. Don't get caught up in beating anybody else. So what is that going to be? Cardinals are going to, kind of dink and dunk a little bit. You'll hit a couple reverses, and then before you know it, they're in the red zone. And I'll make a bold prediction right now. James Conner, 3 touchdowns, Cardinals 31-20.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. All right. Mauro, do you want to go next?
Absolutely. I just mentioned in the beginning, this game has a huge meaning for us. Of course, not only us, but the Rams as well, to try to keep up the competition. But this is just a high quality game. Yeah. It's probably one of the best matchups obviously in this week and obviously second half of the season. And of course, as a Cardinals fan, I want to see us winning the game, quality, playoff Super Bowl contender like you guys. At home, national television, not trying to get embarrassed again like a Thursday night. So get that glory, secure that ticket, and win 37-33. Cardinals. Shootout.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Joseph?
Obviously, as you noted, the Rams have a chance to win this game, obviously. The cliche any given Sunday is there for a reason. So absolutely, the Rams are a good team. The Cardinals are a good team. When two good teams play, either team could win. I think the probabilities lean in the towards the Cardinals, and I'm going to pick the Cardinals. Yep. But I would be kind of naive to think the Cardinals are a surefire bet to win this game against a really good Rams team. I do think the Rams are going to be more effective on offense than they were last time. And my prediction is 34-27 Arizona.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously, this as a fan, I want my team to win, and I think my team can win, and they should win. But absolutely, I recognize that the Rams could come in and win this game for sure. Awesome.
Yeah, I am picking the Rams to win this game. Of course, but let me talk. See, it's one of those things that we have our fan biases. I love to talk about what you think the flow is going to be, and you guys all did a great job of talking about that. I think this game's going to be a sloppy game. I think there's going to be weird penalties, bad calls. Pardon?
We had a 49ers sloppy game. It was 17-10.
Yeah,
I mentioned that one.
Well, I think there's going to be turnovers in this game. I think there's going to be bad calls where we're all yelling at our televisions, or Mauro, if you're in the game in person, you're going to be yelling at the zebras and saying, where's the laundry?
Zerbas.
I think that this game will have so much build up into it, and I think that especially the first half will be quite low scoring, but I think the second half is going to really open up the playbook of both teams. I think we're going to see Stafford slinging it. I think we're going to see Kyler Murray slinging it. And I actually think this game has the potential to be one of the higher scoring games of the entire NFL season, because you have the number 3 offense or scoring offense in the Cardinals with the number 5 scoring offense in the Rams. And I'm predicting that this game is going to be a 41-38 win for the Rams.
I mean, yeah, I can have it, but it's not no 2018 Chiefs Rams, barn burner.
Let me dream, Aaron.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not telling you can't, but I'm just kind of confused.
51 games, something like that.
How can a game that's supposed to be sloppy and have a lot of turnovers have so much go right that you get all those points? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, dude, that barn burner game had tons of turnovers in it.
Yeah, but how much of just whatever. Moving on.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Like I think it's gonna be I think there's gonna be pick sixes. They're gonna someone's gonna mess up on special teams.
So, yeah, a lot of points over the turnovers, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think we have a Cardinals Rams classic coming up. And
you guys own us for the past multiple years, and finally we got a W like a couple months ago. So
yeah. But anyway, I am excited for this game. I think that it's part of the fun of being a football fan are these divisional rivals games. And the reality is there were many years where the Rams and Cardinals played each other, and it was just sort of like, okay, the two teams that aren't competing for the division are playing, right? So it's exciting to have the Cardinals and the Rams in this top spot, and like a game this late in the year means something to it. I had one more question. We skipped over this, guys, and you guys have been awesome. We'll close off with this question. Are there any concerns that you guys have with the Cardinals coming into this game? And maybe your concerns are on the Rams side of the ball. Maybe you're concerned about the best receiver in football, Cooper Kupp. Who knows?
But I do have one.
Yeah, what's up?
This is the Cardinals' biggest flaws that I was about to actually make a video like a couple of days from now. We got too many fumbles. We have absolutely atrocious amount of fumbles. Like I think we're most in the NFL. The good thing is we do recover most of them. The bad thing is that can turn to a disaster. So if we want to stay competitive and we're trying to reduce those amount of like negative plays, because that's still a game for loss of yards play. So and potential turnovers. So we need to reduce those amount of turnovers. That means from fumbles, because we do fumble a lot. Please glue or something the football.
Let me ask you this though: how much does that previous game with the rain and the wind influence that? Because I don't think that at all.
They didn't affect it because we do recover the most of a fumble. But
no, what I'm saying is what makes you feel like we fumbled the ball so much? I mean, I don't know the number, and I'm trying to look it up right now, but I don't see that as a big problem myself.
I don't know. I do understand that, but it's just me. It's not a necessary play. It's not good to see those type of potentially a turnover.
It makes your heart go a little,
Well, not really. Like, just what are you doing? So you can just lose downs and negative plays. So
right, and
it'll be one of the just like concernings that like we probably definitely want to reduce ahead of this upcoming competitive game. So realizing throughout the TV and watching the game for sure.
All the little mental mistakes, they can get on us. But I mean, it's been a long time since the Cardinals have done on that. I mean, the Cardinals, one thing that was a big concern last year was the penalties. Cardinals, I think, at least had like 80, 90 penalties, and they were up in the top.
I remember that.
Top 5 in the league. But now I just checked the other week, and they're 20th in the league. So
Very good.
it's a big improvement. My main area of concern is, like I said earlier, it's the interior of both of the lines. And the other thing is there's got to be some safety help for Byron Murphy, because Byron Murphy just gets beat on speed, and that's all Darnell Mooney did. If Andy Dalton was as competent as he wanted to be, he would have thrown the ball last week to Mooney, who was pretty much wide open. So that's my concern, because obviously you got Cup, and you gotta bracket him or find a way to disguise a zone or something, and just making sure that the interior of the lines actually does their job. The other thing I wanted to get to way a long time ago was how much rushing yards the Cards are letting up per carry, which was 4.7 heading in before the Bears game. Now I'm not sure what that is now, but my question is how much of that yardage in the average is really when teams are just behind so much in the third quarter that they're just trying to run to get anything going, that they just let up chunk plays. So control the trenches, and make Stafford's life a living firestorm, and play your game, and the Cardinals have their chance to win it. So when you get to these spots, I mean, my dad always says you had the chance, so this is the chance to do it. Prove your worth on Monday night.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, my probably biggest concern is that is kind of the game script I talked about earlier, that if the Cardinals pass defense doesn't force turnovers or stops of other kinds against the Rams, and this game stays close, then the Rams can keep running the ball, right? And that's I think the Packers, we saw what happened. They kept it close, and they were able to keep running the ball right to the end. Now the Cardinals still had a chance to win it. But here's the thing, like the Cardinals pass defense is really good. People, they're talking about how the Cardinals defense is good, but I don't think people are talking enough about how good this pass defense has been, because the run defense has been bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that the defense overall is good is largely attributable to that pass defense. And they've been really good on stopping third downs, right? So like on defense, they are one of the leading teams in terms of, stopping third downs. Let's see, fourth down percent on defense. Yeah, they're third and fourth down percent allowed, and fourth and third down percents, and third and fourth down percents. Top five in both of those.
Wow.
And they don't give, and even with this, as much as they give up a lot of rushing yards, they actually don't give up a ton of rushing touchdowns, because part is the red zone defense.
It's so good.
Yeah, so it's so if the Cardinals, pass defense can stop them on third down, the game's going to look like the last one did. But so that's my fear, right? Is that Stafford has one of his good games, right?
Yeah.
But this pass defense makes good quarterbacks look bad. So, even Aaron Rodgers didn't have a great passing game. He played super conservative in the win, right? He didn't pass a ton. So my fear is that falls apart, and then the Rams are able to keep running.
Yeah. And I'll close off with my concerns about the Rams in this game. Is I'm concerned that our star players will be balling out, but our role players and our players that aren't necessarily the big name players aren't going to step up. That the Cardinals, they plan for Jalen Ramsey, they plan for Aaron Donald, they plan for Leonard Floyd, they plan for Cooper Kupp, they plan for Matt Stafford, like all the big names. They're gonna force them to try and make mistakes. I think it's gonna be the Sony Michels in the running back. It's gonna be the Deshaun Robinsons in the pass rush, a name that not a lot of people are talking about, but he's playing well. And my concern is that those players aren't going to be able to step up, and we need them to for the Rams to win this game. And but gentlemen, this has been a pleasure. I love talking football with you guys. We're going to start to close it out here, but I want to see here, Grandiers. I can't pronounce their username, but that's cool. Always
Grandizer.
Grandizer?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you for your reading skills. But I do acknowledge that there's not a lot of Cardinals YouTubers out there, so I always want to give you guys that opportunity to talk about your platform a bit. So he's saying his buddy's been a big Cardinals fan but struggled to find some Cardinals content creators. I have 3 of the greatest ones on my show right here. So could each of you go around, talk about your channel, what you do there, how long have you been doing it, and just so you know, anyone who's watching, all the links to all of these channels are in the description below. You need to go subscribe. You got to go subscribe. Get these guys, content in your YouTube feed and part of your story. It's amazing. Yeah. But Aaron, where can people find you? What's your channel about?
So what's displayed? That's my personal Twitter account. But if you search us at Cardinals Corps, CORPS or Corpse, however you want to say it, that's where you'll find us. I started this alongside 2 of my fan-sided coworkers because we write for Raising Zona, fan-sided blog. And I've been with Raising Zona for actually since last November. And I was on Payo's stream earlier this year for the Texans game because I am basically like the assistant manager of the Texans site. So I just write that for extra money. All my fanship is here. We've had a little bit of some, a lot of stuff come up in our personal lives. So we're trying to stick to at least once a week. I know I am. And you can watch if you guys join us. Chances are, like, if you join us, you'll get on the stream. If you want to come on, I will gladly take you, because being able to talk face to face is a lot more dynamic than just talking through a chat, which is great that we have this audience. But that's how I like to make our podcast stand out a little bit. And we are slowly reviving the Spotify one as well. So at Cardinals Core, and descriptions in there, and through that link, we have a link tree of everywhere else we're at. So we've been doing it since August.
Cool. Yeah. Mauro?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me here, Payo. It was blessed. Of course, fellow mates, Cardinals mates. First time I've seen Aaron. I see Joseph's my neighbor right now. So, but yeah, I do this since 2002. So I'll say like 3 years and a half, should I say? First, I started just a lot of random stuff, mostly like travel vlog and stuff. And I did once, I think it was the draft party when the Kyler Murray was selected. I got that good amount of views. And then that's what started. I'm a Cardinals fan. You know what? I'll just do like Cardinals fan YouTube content, talk about it, go to games. Because again, it's blessed and honor nowadays to go to watch games in person. So I like to, share, vlog it, and, make, more fans to go to the site to cheer for the team. Even we had a struggle years last year, and still we are. But I am very blessed and just talk about the Cardinals. We're in such a great condition, great year, great season. So very stoked. And yeah, just talk about all the Cardinals related contents. And hopefully I can still stick to it. And we'll see how the season goes. And hopefully I'll be happy or sad.
And Joseph and the Cardinal Rule.
Yeah, and these guys are both great follows. Mauro does really cool like hype videos and stuff, and it's cool stuff from the stadium, and I enjoy checking out his stuff. And then when Aaron is doing their live streams on Cardinals Conversation Corps, you often find me in the chat, asking questions and maybe making a few jokes here and there. But it's a really good community we're building here. And
let me join next one.
yeah. And I launched my channel in April, and really kind of was really strategically like, okay, wanted to kind of launch the channel right before the draft and plan it, and and it was really the channel really picked up, and I've been really fortunate to have some really good growth. It's been a little over 8 months, and I just passed 2,000 subscribers. So it's
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. So it's been a lot of fun, and so if you subscribe to my channel, you're going to see some live streams like this once in a while, but you're also going to see like game reactions that are just quick, like 2-3 minute videos where I do like my 5 key observations from the game, and then once periodically I do some deeper dive videos that are anywhere from like 6 minutes to 15 minutes. Like I did one on the Cardinals run defense a couple weeks back, and and I really try to go in, get into the analytics a little bit of film study here and there. and I really put a lot of effort and into making sure that when you click on my video that it's worth your time. And so I work hard to do that, and fortunately, it's thus far it's paid off, and and I love doing this. Love talking Cardinals. I've been a Cardinals fan forever, and I love connecting with Cardinals fans like these two fine gentlemen and the other folks. So yeah, give my channel a look, and if you're a Cardinals fan, I think you'll enjoy my content.
Awesome. And a friendly reminder, everyone who's watching and listening, the links to all their channels is in the description below. You got to go subscribe. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. I'm going to ask you guys to stick around, so we'll chat just briefly afterwards. Everyone who's been part of this live stream, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you. I hope I hope you're as excited as I am and these guys are for this game. I'll be doing a watch party for the game, and I'm sure these guys will show up and talk trash in here. All right, I gotta roll my intro and get us out of here. All right, have a great
outro.
Yeah, my outro. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
See you guys.
Peace.